now like to call the Court Board for April meeting to order. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? And if so, could I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's been moved and passed. Okay. Code officers, please come forward to be sworn in.
Ms. Hines, don't we need a roll call first?
The roll call. Yeah,
Okay,
the roll call.
okay. Okay, we'll swear them in.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Okay. Can we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Roby.
Here.
Ms. McLean. Here. Mr. Jones. Mr. Harrington.
Here.
Ms. House.
Here.
Ms. Hines.
Here.
And Ms. Kundig.
Can we get a motion to excuse Mrs. Conde and Mr. Jones?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Mr. Sino, do we need
Here.
5 people to vote on lien reviews at
We're okay,
minimum?
but it's gotta be 4-1 though.
4-1.
4 or 5-0. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so you hit it to 4-1. Lien reviews have to have 4 votes.
Okay, here are our procedures. We will be calling cases by number and for the most part in order as they are listed on the agenda. If there are any attorneys or police present, we will hear their cases first. When your case is called, please come forward and be sworn in. State your name and address for the record. If you are not the owner of the property, please state your relationship to the owner. Our proceedings are recorded, so please speak into the microphone. The board hears from the code enforcement officers first, and then you will be given the opportunity to respond. Please direct all responses to the board. Witnesses may also testify following the same procedure. Are there any attorneys present? Okay, we have
Number 7.
number 7. Okay.
Do we have any cases that are closed?
Yes.
Okay.
It should be the next thing.
Let's get to 4.
Okay.
Let's do 4.
Ex parte and now.
I'm
Do
sorry.
number 4.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Isn't Mr. Stowers here for case number 1, Mr.
Number
Nissan?
7? Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, are there any disclosure? Are there any disclosures of ex parte communications?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Case 1.
Case 1.
Okay. Well, we're now going to case 1.
The announcements.
Announcements? Sorry. Excuse
We
me.
do have announcements. Case number 2, CEB 03-1942 at 511 North Oleander Avenue is in compliance 3/29/2019. Case number 9, CEB 03-1961 at 153 Taylor Avenue is in compliance 4/4/2019. Case number 15, CEB 03-1959 at 1050 Sheridan Road is in compliance 3/28/2019. Case number 16, CEB 03-1945 at 800 Madison Avenue is in compliance 4/9/19. Case number 17, CEB 03-1943
2019. Case number 20, CEB 03-1937 at 404 Auburn Drive is in compliance 3/28/2019. Case number 26, 03-1970 at 2312 North Oleander Avenue is in compliance 4/4/2019. Case number 28, CEB 02-1931 at 822 Vernon Street is in compliance 4/10/2019. Case number 29, CEB 03-1964 at 2716 South Atlantic Avenue is in compliance 4/10/2019. Case number 36, CEB 04-1978 at 353 Boylston is in compliance 4/1/2019. Case number 37,
Bless you.
CEB 04-1979 at 437 Manhattan Avenue is in compliance 3/26/2019. Case number 38, CEB 04-1980 at 216 North Halifax Avenue is in compliance 4/10/2019. Case number 40, CEB 04-1977 at 664 Kingston Avenue is in compliance 4/5/2019. Case number 41, CEB 04-1982 at 505 Kingston Avenue is in compliance 4/8/2019.
Thank you.
We will now go to case 1. That's case number CEB 03-1947, Robert Peach.
State your name and address, please.
James Stowers, 85 Abacus Avenue, Ormond Beach. Here on behalf of the property owner, Robert Sy.
Okay, can we
Good
hear?
morning, Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office. The case is in front of you for a failure to obtain a rental license. Pardon? Did somebody have a question? Oh, I'm sorry. The notice violation was generated and signed for on December 27th. The compliance deadline was January 11th of this year, and that hasn't happened yet, so that's why we're here today. I have talked with the property owner's attorney. There's a wrinkle here, and we have a proposal. The property owner is willing to stipulate that he's not in compliance. However, he has taken the position that he is legally zoned to do rentals, and if he is, it would be a simple matter to get a rental license and pass inspections. The city's research to date is that the property is not conforming, and in fact, it's not even legally non-conforming, which means there would be no way to make the use of the property legal for a rental in a zoning district. So there's a dispute between us. Disputes like that, when they're decided by staff, are actually appealed to a different board, to the Board of Adjustment. So Mr. Stowers and I have talked, and what we would like to do is they'll stipulate to being in non-compliance, but they would like to wait until the next cutoff to determine what the next step would be to give Mr. Stowers and his client time to work through the process and see if they can get relief from the staff's determination that's been made to date.
Okay.
What do you need, just, you want the next cutoff to give an opportunity to make a decision, what do
To make a decision,
not actually do it?
well, right, we would like the order of non-compliance made today, but the determination on when compliance needs to be achieved delayed until the next meeting.
Okay.
And why would we need to do this? This was started in December of last year. You were here last meeting, I believe, and you still, what do you discuss? That you can't make a decision? I don't see the need not to set a compliance date.
Well, I'm
I
going to let
think-
Mr. Stowers address that.
Right. Mr. Jackson's not here today, so I'll sort of bridge the gap here between what happened last month. I believe that last month's hearing, we know we don't have the rental permit because the city hasn't issued it and refused it. So I believe we stipulated that to that last month. So the continuance was based on getting additional information. So for you all who were here last month, this is what's happened. At last month's hearing, the question really centered around that 2013 letter that the city sent out. It went to the previous property owner, if you recall. Well, what I went back and found from the client is that they had some electrical work done when they acquired the property, and in early 2014, they got the rental licenses or the rentals in place. So the property has been leased since early 2014. Subsequent to that, I went back to the city and said, I've got this information. And they came to me and said, well, it's actually, in our opinion, worse than what was discussed in 2000 at the last hearing. It actually goes back to whether or not this was even non-conforming. And if you recall at that hearing, we accepted at the time that it was non-conforming based on the city's letter to my client or to the previous property owner in 2013. So what changed that creates this issue is the city's actually taken a position that goes back another layer to whether or not it's even non-conforming. And, you know, so I talked to Mr. Gross before the meeting, understand that we need to have some discussions with the city about the non-conformity issue, which again, at last month's hearing, I took that as face value. The city sent the letter that says you are non-conforming, you have 6 months to get this. So that was a non-issue at the time. I've done some research since then, but what Ben is saying is that issue of non-conformity is a factual issue that's not, and I can let you expand on that, but it's not necessarily, it's not the purview of this board. So what we'd like to do is, from my perspective and our client's perspective, we're exactly where we were a month ago in that there's still this non-compliance, but we'll continue it. And if we work this other issue out with the city, it's very possible this may be brought in compliance and go away, because the city will find it is a non-conforming use that's valid, and the city therefore would approve the rental license, which would bring this into compliance. So that's sort of the multiple issues that are going on here.
Isn't this the one that, he was grandfathered in and didn't answer the letter?
Well, he didn't get the letter. The letter was sent to the previous owner.
But he never applied himself for a rental license, because if he would have found out he was grandfathered in if he would have applied, correct?
If I can, whether somebody's grandfathered or not depends on whether it's a legally non-conforming use, which means that when the code was first adopted that said single-family homes only in this district, they had, in accordance with prior code provisions, received approval to operate as a multifamily. You can be non-conforming in fact, that doesn't grandfather you in. There's got to be evidence that shows that you were at one point legal. That's what affects whether you're grandfathered in, and that's what Mr. Stowers and his client are contesting with staff. And there's a process in place where that factual determination can be appealed to the Board of Adjustment if needed. And that factual determination is very intensive. If we're talking about an LVC provision, for example, that was first adopted in '68 to make all these residences single family, you have to go prior to 1968 to to find records that show you were legally conforming then. Our staff searched and didn't find them. but it's possible that they may have records that show that they work.
But the Board of Adjustments can I don't want to use the word overrule, but they can give permission for this to continue at the Board of Adjustments.
The Board of Adjustment, if it did that, would technically not be granting a variance, which is their usual power. They would be overseeing the factual determination.
Okay.
And mind you, there is a land development code provision that says the burden, and this is in the chapter in the land development code chapter, I think it's 8, on whether a property is non-conforming. The burden is on the applicant to show that. So, and they'd have that burden in front of the Board of Adjustment as well.
So your recommendation is to continue this?
Our recommendation is they're willing to stipulate that they're in violation of the code section that says they have to have a rental license, but they've asked to continue any additional portions of the order until they've had a month or so to go through that process.
Okay,
I'll move that.
so you move that a motion of non-compliance with a continuance?
Yeah, there would be no date of compliance.
Okay.
If you want to report back at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, is there a second?
I second it.
Okay. It's been moved in second.
So 1 month or 2 months? 2 months to come back.
Well, we think it should be 1 month. If
One-
there's a wrinkle, Mr. Stowers could state his case at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we are interested in reaching a resolution of this sooner rather than later.
Okay. Okay, so we will,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
All opposed?
All opposed?
Good. Adopted.
Okay. Rule is adopted, okay. Thank you. We will now have case 42.
42. 42.
42,
Page 12.
page 12.
That's Roosevelt.
No, page 42 is Kennedy and Broken Road.
No, 42.
Page 12.
It's on
Page 12.
Number 12, page 12.
Kinsey Whaley, live in Norman, 151 Wilmette. Or do you want the address of the complaint?
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Whaley, we're here from our board.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office. This is here on a failure to maintain roof. The photos will show that if you look at the garage, it looks like there's tarp covering it. There's not a roof currently. The green card was signed for the violation on November 23rd. They were given until December 23rd of last year to comply. They have not done so. There has been no previous contact with the owner. This is the first time I think our code staff have seen him. And our request today is that an order of non-compliance be made, and that they achieve compliance on the next cutoff.
Okay. Mr. Whaley.
I've got material on the job already. I've got a receipt for the roofing material. We got $3,000 worth of material on the job, if you want to see it. Had trouble getting roofers to come out and give me a price. It took me several months to get people to show up. I went through different roofers. I've gotten prices anywhere from $7,300 to $15,000 for the same job. And I just got through talking to a roofer this morning, and he said he should be able to be out there in a week to get this roof started.
How much time till he gets it finished, Mr.
Do what?
Did he give you like a completion date?
Usually it takes about a week
Okay.
for him. He's a small builder. It's Keith Milne. And,
Okay.
I mean, you see, there's a quote that he gave me on the back with no material on the job. I've had another roofer give me a price of $11,500 with my material on the job.
Have you
That's a
signed your
double the
contract?
price.
So has
Have
the
you signed your
permit,
contract with him?
I didn't sign any contract yet. He's supposed to be over there this afternoon to double check and to go over it, because he gave me a quote over the, when I met him on a different job.
Okay.
I was gonna say, and the contractor will get the permit for that, or have you applied for the permit?
I didn't apply for it because I was under the impression that the roofer had to pull a permit.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any more questions from the board? Okay. Can I have a motion of non-compliance?
So moved.
Okay. And amend to the April 1st,
May 1st.
May 1st cutoff date. I have a second.
Second.
Okay. Can I get a, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
You
Good
have
luck.
one, okay. Case number, okay, no, 7, okay. Case number 2. Oh,
Lien review one.
thank you. Lien review 1.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office. We are having some technical issues, and so I don't know when you'll be able to see photos again. Hopefully, since this is a lien review, you're able to recall this item. The respondents first appeared in front of the board at the December meeting. The board imposed a fine at the January meeting. There were missing smoke detectors in the hall and the bedrooms. The screen on the front door needed to be repaired. The interior ceiling had water damage. The roof needed repair. There were other issues such as light switches and GFCI receptacles. There were bars on the windows, and those were the original violations. There was a reinspection of the property on March 7th, and they had come into compliance with all of the items. However, given the staff time on this and the time it took them to come into compliance, staff recommends no reduction in the fine, which is at $5,700 plus $24 in recording costs.
State your name and address.
My name is Evgeny Trusevich. The address here is 350 North Charles Avenue, Daytona Beach.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Pasivich, what do you have to tell us?
As explained in my notes of hardship to the council, there were some circumstances that prevented us, me and my wife, to do all the corrections in a short time due to the health condition of my wife. She has a mental disease and she cannot be left alone. We live in Canada. So some of the corrections were done in 2018. For example, the plumber's work, which could have been done by accessing the contractors and inviting to do the job and paying him, when we were staying in Canada. The earliest time when we could come over to Canada to do the corrections personally was in January 2018. Unfortunately, I have not received any information, any notice of the previous hearing when the lien was considered. So I learned about it only after it happened, and that's why I couldn't be present there to state my case. However, in the second half of January, we were here to conduct all the necessary corrections, and they were finalized by end of January, except for the roof. Now, in 2018, we contacted by phone, by email, more than a dozen of roofing contractors. Most of them were taken busy till the end of the year, or some of them were not even interested. We got different quotations from like $12,000 to $20,000. So in September, we got a good offer from Four Seasons Roofing, and we had an agreement to conduct the complete removal of the roof, the underlying lumber, and installation of a new roof. The busy schedule of the contractor didn't allow to do it before the holiday season. In January, they explained there was a bit of wet conditions because, to remove the roof and all the underlying lumber, you needed, the weather to be dry. So he started the work beginning of February. By the 15th of February, the job was completely done. It was Friday, 18th of February. I got the invoice, I paid it, and by the 15th of February, all the corrections were done. However, I informed the city, but the reinspection was done only 3 weeks later. So for these reasons, the whole thing, corrections with the transportation and everything, cost us over $14,000. I kindly ask the board to, now we are in compliance, to reconsider this penalty, which, in addition to what we paid already for the corrections, it's a very heavy burden for our, we're both pensioners, for our pension. So this is our request that, due to the circumstances that were beyond of my control, we were in delay, but now we're in compliance. Thank you.
Do you have any documentation showing when you were in compliance? Is anything,
The date.
any date or anything like that you could help us with?
It's 8/19 is on the.
No, I'm saying that's for the city found in compliance. Do you know when the work was finished?
The work was finished on the final work, the roof was the final job. It was finished on February 15, and I have an invoice.
What did it take to March 8th to the city to come out? Did you not call them right away?
I called the city, I informed by email and by phone. I don't know why it took 3 more weeks.
Okay. Thank you.
June, do you have a compliance date before the last date?
The one on the agenda is 3/8/19, that's when, Mr. McCoy put it in compliance. He went out there and inspected it.
Okay.
Yeah, just let me speak to the issue of the delay that was alleged between the time that the gentleman called
Okay.
the city and when the city came out. I'd like to have Code Inspector Jerome McCoy report on that.
Mrs. McCoy.
Good morning.
Jerome McCoy, Code Inspector for the city. My credentials are on file. The last item on that had to be corrected on with the violations was the roof, and the delay for me to go out and inspect that was because that permit had to be final, and I had to the owner. I had to inform him that he had to call the building department to get that permit. I'm sorry, that permit final. So once he did that and it was final, then the owner, tenant, reached out to me, and then that's when we arranged the rental inspection for me to do that inspection and finalize that.
Okay.
I'd also, if I can, like to address another point that the gentleman made. He stated that they were unaware of the proceedings until after the fine was already in place, and I have no reason to believe that he's not in earnest on that. However, the statutes authorize and direct us to send notice to the address listed in the tax records, that is the address that the city sent notice to. And when we have a situation like that where we're not in touch with the owner, that creates more of a time burden on staff than in those situations where staff's able to be in touch with the owner early. So again, the city staff's position is they've spent significant time on this case, and the staff's position is that there should not be a lien reduction.
Okay. So your reduction that the city's asking for is?
The total to date is $5,700 plus $24 from recording costs. Total is $5,724.
$57.24. Okay, the chair will entertain a motion if there are no questions.
What are you asking?
I am asking, if not possible, just to, cancel, maybe to reduce this fine, which for us is really, very heavy burden to pay, and to take into consideration that it's our first experience of this kind in Daytona Beach, and my first knowledge of how things should work, and that's why these delays were caused, not only by this, but by also the things that were beyond my control to do it on time.
Do you own other real estate in Daytona Beach?
Sorry?
Do you own other real estate in Daytona Beach?
Yeah, I own another one.
Okay.
How long have you owned this property?
It's less than 2 years.
And has it been rented the whole time?
It was rented starting the end of 2017.
Okay.
Okay. I move that the fine be $5,700. Is there $157.24?
We're asking for a motion.
Yes.
Well, no one giving a motion, so maybe we need to discuss something before we make a motion amongst the board.
Was this a complaint-driven violation to begin with, from the rental person?
Yes, ma'am, it was a complaint driven.
Okay, so,
And then the rental application came in after the complaint was brought in by the tenant that was there. Yes.
The rental license.
Compliance when
okay.
The complaint was they didn't have a license to rent.
Yeah, it was applied for after.
But the first complaint was something to do with construction.
Well, so the question is was it, as Mr. Harrington suggested, that there was no license, or were the tenants complaining about the condition of the dwelling unit?
Well, both. It was the conditions of the dwelling unit and also.
Could we have a date when the building permit was applied for, when the fire license, the board's identification? Not just what day the building permit was applied for the roof, what day was it done. Maybe a couple of hours if you get a roof, would be great.
Well, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to move that the fine be reduced just to $5,000.
Okay. There's been a motion for $5,000. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's get a roll call. please.
Okay,
Get
roll
four
call,
votes.
yeah.
Let's do a roll call on this.
June, give us a roll call, please.
Mr. Jones? Ms. Roby?
Aye.
Ms. McLean?
Aye.
Mr. Harrington?
Aye.
Okay. The motion passes. Okay. Thank you. Our next lien review.
And that's payable within 30 days.
The next,
Reverts back to the beginning where it was.
okay, right. Okay, do we need to tell him that? Okay. Okay, now, the address, do you have the previous one or which one?
No, this one. Lien review number 2 for 900 South Peninsula Drive, number 204.
Okay.
State your name and address, please.
Good morning, my name is Carlos Gregory. I'm with the Property Management Group for 900 South Peninsula 204. Our address is in Longwood, Florida, the office address. Did you need that as well? Okay. It's 1385 State Road 434, Suite 205, Longwood, Florida.
Raise your hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office. The board heard this case at the December 2018 meeting and imposed a fine at the January 2019 meeting. The fine was $100 a day, up to $15,000. The nature of the violation was the rental of property without having a business tax receipt or the rental license required by the code. The fine to the date of compliance, which occurred on February 11th, would be $8,000 plus $24 from recording costs. However, staff found the respondent to be cooperative and diligent, and they're willing to reduce the fine to $1,000.
Okay. You like to say anything?
Yes, first I just want to thank June Barnes. I'm not sure who that is. Oh. I'm sorry. June has been fantastic to work with. Her follow-up and assistance has been great, as well as Mr. McCoy. We, as a property management company, we don't have a lot of units in Daytona Beach, and discovered very late that there was a requirement to have licensing for rental properties in the area, which I applaud the city for doing. We operate primarily in Orlando, and that's not the case there. And I can certainly understand why you guys do it. It makes our job a little bit easier. In regards to this case in particular, the owner of this property is in Argentina. They were an investor as part of a pool of investors who were essentially scammed into buying properties in the United States. This property was purchased in 2012 roughly for about $70,000, and if they can get $45,000 for it right now, they'd be lucky to do so. They were being managed by the same group that sold them the property, and a lot of the issues that have occurred in this community are as a result of poor management and absentee management. I'm also the board president for the Harborside Condominium Association, where we're working very, very hard to turn that community around and get the right renters in place and be able to put some enforcement actions there. This individual in South America, the owners of the Macasito LLC, are in financial hardship at the time. They're trying to sell the unit. The unit is under contract, and getting this resolved, obviously became one of the conditions of being able to sell the unit. We don't dispute the issue. In fact, I think that to Mr. McCoy's point, as soon as we became aware of it, we worked very diligently to try to get it resolved. And there was a misunderstanding between, September and the time of this. I believe there's another person, Karen Baum, who lets you know that it's time to renew your license. And we paid the license renewal in October, but the inspection part was the part that we weren't aware of. And so, because the registered agent and the address on the tax lien, it was not us. We still don't know who the heck the address is going to. We didn't know of the correspondence that was coming out, but through other cases, I've been in conversations with Mr. McCoy, and we became aware of the situation and acted as swiftly as we could to try to bring it to a resolution. So I'm grateful for staff's asked for the reduction to $1,000. I would ask the board, to consider, based on our good faith here, that we would just pay the recording costs if that's possible. Thank you.
Okay. The board will entertain a motion for $1,000. So moved.
Second.
As you drive down Beach Street in Daytona Beach, you'll notice a large white house that looks completely out of place. It's the only house in Riverfront Park. But it's not out of place. In fact, it's exactly where it should be. It's one of the oldest houses in town and the home of Dr. Josie Rogers, the first woman doctor and first female mayor of Daytona. She was a member of one of the founding families of Daytona. Her father, David D. Rogers, was one of the 25 men who incorporated the town on July 26, 1876, and was on the first town council. He was also a surveyor and laid out many of the neighborhoods of Daytona and Seabrook.
Page 3, number 3.
Page 3, number 3. Case. Wait a minute. It's case
3.
Case 3. I see that.
Page 3,
But
number 3.
case, I'm on 3. Case number 2
Yeah, that was in compliance.
is in compliance. Okay, and case number 3 is in compliance.
No.
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 It's not? Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, to you.
Thank you. Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office.
And that's 840 North Halifax.
Okay.
The board's been at this case for a while. The notice of violation was generated last March. The compliance deadline was April of last year. The property failed several inspections in the intervening time. However, there was a discussion between code staff and the owner on April 1st, and staff believes that work should be complete within the next 2 weeks. Staff's request is to amend the order and provide for a May cutoff for compliance.
Okay.
And I've got John Stenson, if you have any factual questions regarding the status,
Okay.
available to talk to you.
I do. What is the work that's supposed to be done?
Good morning, John Stinson, Code Inspector with the City, and qualifications are on file. Inspector Jones, who I'm covering for, he only states that the property should be able to come in compliance relatively easily by the May cutoff. He hasn't specified exactly what needs to be done. I don't have its actual checklist, but the property is unoccupied.
Okay, and this is for rental license.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, okay.
There's 4 I walk by this building a lot, and I don't think it's unoccupied.
The particular unit, the unit that
Oh, okay.
Inspector Jones is
But,
Do you know
this,
which unit it is? Sorry.
not specified the actual unit. No, he is not.
Was this, you don't remember, this wasn't your case, but was the one where they argued that the license should be for the whole building and not each separate unit, something like that? 'Cause something's gone on here it takes a year to
yeah, that was my comment, was this has been a year.
Well, I know years ago it was occupied and it was in very poor condition. And it's in much better condition now, but
I think the argument was that all the other units were in compliance, but they're holding the rental license back because they're all not done, some bizarre thing like that.
Mr. Stinson, do you know whether or not a license has been applied for?
Yes,
Or
it has been applied for,
Okay.
which has generated the inspection, or the need for the rental inspection.
Okay. So you're asking for another 30 days? Or?
Yes, ma'am. He says they should be done by the May cutoff.
Okay. Okay, so do the chair entertain a motion to continue to the May 1st cutoff date,
Or be subject to a fine.
or be subject to a fine.
so So they need to be in compliance.
By May
Okay,
1st.
I'll make the motion that
Okay.
if they will be in compliance by May 1st.
Okay. Can I get a
If they
second?
show up next month, then we'll be not gonna.
Get a second on
Yeah.
that? It has been motioned.
No, move, no, we haven't had a second yet.
Second.
Second.
Okay, it's
Sorry.
been seconded by Mr. Harrington. I think we should do a roll call on that one.
Okay. Let's see. All right, Ms. Brookie,
Yes.
Ms. McLean,
Yeah.
Mr. Harrington,
Yes.
Ms. House,
No.
and Ms. Hines.
Yes.
4-1.
Okay, it passed. Thank you. Case number 4, CEB 031939. Melissa B. Bartlett.
And this property is located at 405 North Halifax Avenue. It was, it's in front of you for a failure to obtain a rental license. They were first notified of the violation November 29th of last year. That's when the NOV was generated. The property was posted on that date after staff couldn't get confirmation of service of the letter when it was mailed. The compliance deadline was December 13th. There was a discussion between code inspector, I believe it was Mark Jones, and the owner on December 4th. She stated that the window would be fixed, and she would call to schedule the re-inspection. The inspection, by the way, the reason why it failed the rental inspection that led to the violation was a garbage disposal and that window. So all that remained as of the 4th was the disposal, apparently. There has since then been no contact from the owner, no window permit applied for. There has been another conversation with the owner on March 8th, and she said she had ordered the window and it would be installed in 2 to 3 weeks. Staff hasn't had any other contact with the owner since then. Staff requests a fine of $100 a day with a cap of $15,000. Mark Jones, who was the code inspector who initiated the NOV, he's not here today, but I do have John Stenson, who's here to address any factual questions that you may have.
Okay.
I make a motion that we impose a fine.
I second.
Okay.
And you cap it at 15,000. Put
Yeah, cap it.
$100 a
you
day.
put what the fine is and what it's capped at.
$100 per day.
With a cap of $15,000.
15,000. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Case number 5, CEB 031965. Larry S. Johnson and Lisa B. Johnson and Elizabeth Sarah Johnson.
I am none of those. My name is Daniel Prince. I am the son-in-law of Larry Johnson.
Ms. Raymond, do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office. This was another rental. There was a failure to obtain a business tax receipt and a rental license. The notice of violation was generated beginning of February this year. The green card returned a week afterward. The compliance deadline was February 21st. The notice of hearing was posted March 5th. And staff requests a finding of noncompliance be amended to the next cutoff, in that the roof that apparently needs to be fixed in order to obtain the rental license, that permit has been applied for.
And if I may, the roof is actually going to get repaired on Monday. I got confirmation from the roofer today, so the roof will be repaired on Monday. At that point, I will schedule the re-inspection. Everything else has been put into compliance. I mean, that'll be up to his judgment, obviously. but we're just waiting on Monday to clear and then the permit to close. As far as the business tax receipt, we use a rental, a management property to do that for us, and I called the county, and they informed me that I did not need that receipt, or we do not need that receipt, that she should have obtained that business tax receipt, because she receives the initial income for the property, and then, submits the income, disperses the income other than that. So that was, according to what she informed us, that was not on us to obtain. As far as the licensing goes, we have applied for that, but we're waiting for all of these things to come into compliance so that we can get the final for that, so we can get the license approved.
I recommend you follow through with them because not all rental agencies are up to snuff.
Yes, ma'am, and we're looking at possibly going another direction at this point because of that. Thank you.
We don't have any additional comments.
Okay.
Mr. Gross, does the county give advice on city ordinances?
They may have, and they may have given incorrect advice. But I'm sure the gentleman's aware now that the city would expect the owner to obtain the business tax receipt, and it would be the owner we'd go after if that didn't happen. So, and it sounds like he's aware of it. And in fact, my understanding is the business tax receipt has actually been obtained at this point. That's what I understand from staff.
It should have been.
Yeah.
So.
So it sounds like they probably got on their agent who went ahead and got it. And there probably won't be any problems in the future.
I'll make a motion that, come in compliance by next cutoff date.
Thank you.
I second that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next cutoff date,
May 1st.
Would
May
it be a
1st.
fine if they're not in compliance?
We'll find up to $1,000 per day.
Yeah.
with a fine of up to $1,000 per day if not in compliance by next cutoff.
Thank you.
Okay. Pages are sticking together. Case number 6, CEB 031934, Evelina Miller, 550 North Ridgewood Avenue.
Can I have just a minute, please, to confer with staff?
Okay.
I tell you, I haven't seen the picture, remind me again, so many of these things. You got a good memory.
Rather than get into the details of the case, I've been advised by staff that they want to dismiss this. The property's changed hands, it's unoccupied, and in fact, for safety reasons, in accordance with another set of regulations that we have, the city's boarded up the property. So if there needs to be an NOV later against the new owner, we would issue it after this.
Okay. So,
In fact, there are additional cases related to other things that are not rental related that are being levied against the, or they're being, notice of violations are being issued against the owner.
okay. Can the chair entertain a motion to dismiss?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, aye. Okay.
That was a bad one.
And case number 7, CEB 031949 has already been done. Am I right?
Oh,
Hayward.
number 7.
Number 7. Case number 7, Harold Haywood.
No, don't worry about it.
Okay.
He did number 1.
Okay.
The Ben Gross City Attorney's Office, I do need to let you know that they've had continuing technical difficulties, and there won't be any photos for the rest of the meeting. I can draw you pictures. No, I can't draw you pictures. But in seriousness, we can have the code inspector describe the violations in more detail if you'd like. And I think just for the record, since there is not a visual record of those, I'm probably going to be asking them just to do that a little bit. But in this case, the property is an owner-occupied property, and it was cited for failure to have running water. There's missing siding, and there's outside storage in violation of LDC Section 9.2A and several provisions of the International Property Maintenance Code, as well as LDC Section 6.19A3. The NOV, the Notice of Violation in this case, was issued on October 11, 2018. The green card was signed a week later. The date of the last reinspection was March 29th. They're still in non-compliance. This was a complaint generated by City Hall. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance and an imposition of a fine of $250 a day with a cap of $10,000. The code inspector who worked this case, Danny Garcia, is here. And Danny, Mr. Garcia, in light of the fact that we don't have photos, could you address in a little bit more detail at least the nature of the violations?
Good morning, Inspector Garcia, City of Daytona Beach. My credentials on file. This is a complaint that was given to me from City Hall, and it was there it is. Green building, the siding that was missing, and they put up another type of material, but didn't even paint it. They also have missing siding on the east side, outside storage in the rear, and no running water. I spoke to the owner while doing a posting, and he stated that there was a plumbing leaking pipe issue, and because of that they had to shut the water off and never fixed the pipe. He went on with stating that he had financial issues and waiting on some VA or money to come in, and still no change.
Okay, since he doesn't have any money to fix it and no water running, I don't think imposing a fine is gonna, I mean, is there any way that you could send him to somebody that could help him? I mean,
I don't recall. I mean, I don't. He's had, several. He had time before that.
Yeah.
Yes, he's had time, and that's in a redevelopment area, so Mr. Bryan.
Denzel Sykes, the Neighborhood Services Manager. Yeah, I spoke with the owner myself, and I did offer some services. But even coming up here trying to, I got with Rebecca DeSanto, the utility billing manager, and we made arrangements for him to come in and speak with her, get on a payment plan. He never showed up.
Okay. Is he fully coherent?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So the chair will entertain a motion of non-compliance with a fine up to $250 per day, capped at $10,000, by May 1st. I mean,
No,
yeah.
that's it, you got it.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
And continue to compliance is achieved.
Okay. I have a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye. And what was that cap at?
10,000.
June, are you okay with doing us a favor to knowing that everybody said no? Yes. Then, yeah.
Okay. She just asked
If I
me
hear
to
it's like a
speak up.
dissenting, I'm gonna ask her to.
Speak up. Okay.
Yes.
Roll.
If I hear everybody say yes,
Okay.
it's kind of,
You would like us to do it one at a time, or?
no, I'm saying, so if I hear everybody's voice, I'm fine.
Oh,
But if I
okay.
hear a dissension, then I want
Okay.
it all
Okay.
opposed.
Okay, case number 8CB031960, Heather Burke, 110 North Pioneer Court.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office. Since I said a minute ago that the computer would not be working, and then it did, I'm also going to tell you the air conditioning is also not working.
But it did.
Good thing
Maybe
we're not
something will
renting.
happen in the next couple of minutes.
Okay.
But
Anyway,
we're not renting from the
regarding
city.
this case,
We have the picture.
regarding this case, the staff issued the notice of violation in mid-May of last year. They had installed a new roof without a building permit. we had to post the property. It was eventually posted on January 18th of this year. This board set a compliance deadline of April 3rd to obtain the permit. Code staff went out on April 1st, and the property owner has not achieved compliance. Staff's request is to adopt an order finding noncompliance and imposing a fine of $100 a day, capped at $15,000. Danny Garcia of the city code inspection staff was the officer who inspected this, and he's available if you have any additional questions regarding this.
Okay. Are there any questions? Okay. The chair will entertain a motion of non-compliance with $100 per day, capped at $15,000.
So moved. So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, case number 9, CEB 031961 is in compliance. Okay. Case number 10, CEB 031962, Kelly Ross, Kristen Ritz, Peggy Snyder, and Kimberly Wade, 308 Kingston Avenue.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office. The violations at this address included, and this address was a vacant structure, by the way, damaged fence, peeling paint, siding coming undone, and broken. No, I'm not on the right case.
Yeah, you are.
That's it.
Yeah, broken windows. I'm citing those. The green card was signed for on the notice of violation October 12th of last year. A compliance deadline has previously been set for April 3rd. There was an inspection done March 13th, 2019, and they were still in non-compliance. However, Mr. Garcia, the code inspector who's been working on this case, informed me that the respondent, who's an ER nurse, actually was in Lake Mary, is here in the building and is, as we speak, trying to obtain the permit. She applied for the demo permit on February 28th, but Mr. Garcia, you just told me she's going downstairs to do what with the permit? Can you clarify that, since I'm obviously mistaken on what I just said?
No, he's correct. The owner works for the ER at Lake Mary. She was tired. She said she had to leave. She applied for the permit on February 28, 2019. The permit was approved on March 13, 2019. The only thing she had to do was pay for it and pick it up to start the demo. To put it in compliance, she's going to demolish the property. She is downstairs now applying for the permit, paying for it and picking it up, and she will be in compliance hopefully by next cutoff.
Okay.
So what is staff's request on this?
We're just amending to the next cutoff, allowing her that time to take the building down.
Okay.
I make a motion that we amend to the next
And
cutoff.
have that final inspection done.
Okay.
She's going to call me in that meeting.
Okay. I make a motion that we amend to the next cutoff date for her to come into compliance.
Okay, that's May 1st. Okay.
That's okay.
Okay. So moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Case number 11, CEB 031948, Robert Meskoski, 266 Lexington Drive.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office. This is in front of you because the property owner failed to obtain a business tax receipt or a rental license to rent this property, which is at 266 Lexington. The compliance deadline was October 29, 2018. The last reinspection was April 1st of this year. They were in non-compliance, but we have since learned that the gentleman who owns the house had paid for the rental inspection fees on March 29, 2019. I've got Code Inspector Danny Garcia here. He's going to be available for any factual questions you may have, as well as let you know what staff wants to be done at this point.
Inspector Garcia, with credentials on file, City of Daytona Beach Code Enforcement. They had just paid for the fees for the rental, and I have the invoice here that's paid for. So we're asking to amend, allowing her that time to do the inspection for the rental.
By next cutoff?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Chair will entertain a motion of non-compliance to the next cutoff. Amended. Yeah. He said, move.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Case number 12, CEB 031958. Virgil Rosenfield and Ellen Rosenfield Trust, 228 Bay Street.
State your name and address, please.
My name's Daniel Rice. I live at 166 South Halifax Drive in Ormond Beach.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Management company, correct?
Yes, professional property management. We manage Rosenfeld Trust building for them.
Okay, we're here from Code.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office. I have with me Code Inspector Danny Garcia, who is available to address any factual questions you may have. The compliance deadline on this property was November 12th of 2018. There was a reinspection done March 29th. They had not achieved total compliance at that point, and just to stay with those issues where there was a damaged stair, a railing, a broken window, damaged fence, they hadn't obtained a BTR. However, Mr. Garcia informs me that there has been progress made, and in light of that, staff's request is to amend the order of noncompliance to require compliance by the next cutoff date.
Can you tell us what's happened with the safety issues?
I'm going to let Mr. Garcia address that for you.
The windows have been repaired, the damaged fence has been repaired, the stair has been repaired, the railing, I have to do a reinspection. It was, it's being worked on. It may be in compliance now, I'm not sure, but I have to check on that. And we have Jurgen Betts, who's doing the rental inspection, and he has completed everything except for one minor thing. I think I'll let him speak on that. But the safety issue, as for the railing around the roof part, they're going to see if they need to hire a contractor to have that done. But as for now, they're talking about the Jurgen Betts stating that they may not need that.
Well, we're going to do something. We just want to make sure if we do something that it complies. So as soon as we know what we need to do, we're going to put a railing along that roof edge there. The holdup with the BTR, there's one apartment. It's built in a U on the first floor, and there's one apartment down the middle of the U. And Jurgen Betts said, no, there's no egress out of the back. You can't have that. So the one remaining issue out of the 100 we had there is that we have to amend our business license from 9 units to 8.
So you're going to do away with that unit that doesn't have any...
Yeah, what we'll probably do is punch a hole through one of the other units and make it an extra bedroom with a back door. So we're working with the Department of Business and Professional Regulation now to change that. We actually do have a license, but it's for 9 units. And then Mr. Betts wants it to be 8 units. That's the only remaining issue with Mr. Betts.
So would that be done by the next cutoff?
I hope it's done by the end of the week, but by next week at the latest. That's paperwork.
Okay.
Did you say that you haven't finished the railing situation? That's a month since we talked about that.
Right. The actual stairs, I've gone up and down the stairs. The stairs are solid. And I'm pretty heavy. But when you come down the upper stairs, you have to double back and walk along a section of roof where there's no rail to go down. It's a fire escape. It's not a daily use thing. And I think we need to get a rail along the section of roof where there is no rail, where you have to walk along that section of roof. I've been working with Mr. Garcia, and we've been trying to figure out exactly what they want there. As soon as we know exactly what we need, that everybody would be happy with, we'll get a contractor and we'll get that taken care of.
It's a safety issue. How long is it going to take to know exactly what you need? You had a month last time. If it's a safety issue, it was then, it is now. I don't understand what it is that you can't decide to do. You either need a railing or you don't need a railing, or you need something else, but it should have been corrected if it's a safety issue. We asked that that be done immediately.
What do we do?
Well, we're just trying to determine how to correct it. The police has asked to close it off. They closed it off. The inspector that inspected asked that it needed to be open, so they opened it. So now we're trying to come up with a solution.
Okay, this is the part that have no railing, that they first closed off and then they open up
It's
again?
a fire escape on the top that has an opening. It's a steps down that's only supposed to be used for fire escape for fire reasons, and it was open. There is a section there that the wood has, that top is missing a railing.
That's been fixed.
I explained to him, and he has fixed that. That part right there, where it's damaged, and he has fixed that.
Okay, the chair will issue an order, the chair will entertain a motion for non-compliance to the next cutoff. That is sufficient time
Oh, yeah.
to get, okay? Is
Well,
there a motion?
by then, I don't know how that will be fixed by then, but I'll have a contract to get it fixed by then. I mean, the contractor, sometimes, I can get him to come out next week. Sometimes it's like a month or two.
Okay, you
But I'll have a contract by then.
I'll bring us a report, okay. Is there a
Show
motion?
that contract to somebody that falls off that railing and say, I'm
Well,
sorry.
it's not used. The stairs isn't used. There's a front stairs up in that apartment and back. And that's strictly there as an emergency, back, in case there's a fire.
Is it posted for fire use only? Is there anything there?
No, but we can do that. That'd be easy.
To the potential danger that's there?
No, I can do that. That'd be easy.
Well, I suggest that you do that.
I will do that, sir.
So, but what you're saying though is that we could still be a couple months out.
I'm at the mercy of contractors there. I don't want to do that as a fly-by-night thing. I want to get a contractor to pull a permit and go out and do it right.
But he can give a report next time. Okay, the chair will entertain a motion of non-compliance to the next cutoff with posting a sign of fire escape only.
Or subject to a fine.
Subject to a fine, Mr. Hurd.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
A second. And that means that and you're gonna have going from 9 to 8 units already, will be ready for us then, next
Right.
month too.
Our office person was working on that this week with the State Department of Professional Regulation to get that changed. There is a person in that apartment now. We did give them their 15-day notice. She's not quite right. She was going to find a place to go. She couldn't.
Maybe she could make friends with the guy next door.
No. I don't think she's going to make friends with anyone.
Is that
Okay, all
Her
in
eviction's,
favor?
her eviction is with the courts, so
Okay.
she'll
is
be
that
out
an
of there.
all-wood structure? Is that an all-wood structure?
I suspect, I don't know, I've never,
Okay.
yeah.
That's probably
It is,
a-
yes.
Yes, it is. It's an all-wood structure.
There's a motion that has been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Me.
All opposed?
I am
One.
opposed.
Let's do a roll call vote on that one, yes or negative.
Okay.
Do all in favor,
Okay,
and
roll
all
call.
opposed. Roll call.
Aye.
Ms. McLean?
Opposed.
Mr. Harrington?
Aye.
Ms. House?
Aye.
Ms. Hynes?
Aye.
4-1.
4 to 1.
4-1. Okay,
I thank you for your patience.
13.
okay.
Hopefully
Case-
next month will be our next.
Case number 13, CEB 011909, Kenneth Jacobs, 615 Clark Street.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office. I've got Code Inspector John Stenson here, who's available to address any questions you may have. So we are seeing pictures of the unit. The only thing remaining to be done at this time, according to Mr. Stenson, is the roof. Staff recommends a fine be imposed of $200 per day, capped at $10,000.
The chair will entertain a motion of non-compliance with a fee of $200 per day capped at $10,000.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call. All in favor, it's the,
Aye.
Aye.
aye. Case number 14, CEB 011905, Stephen L. and Judy L. Sutters, 626 Clark Street.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office. Code Inspector John Stenson was the inspector on this case, and he is here today and available to answer any questions you might have. This was a violation of Article 9.2A of the LBC, which I believe requires permits to be pulled for work done. There were no permits pulled. There's broken windows, as well as several provisions, of the International Property Maintenance Code. Originally, there were broken windows, a damaged roof, peeling paint, structural members at the carport. This case was complaint-driven. The case was opened in October of last year. There were then 4 re-inspections. The notice of hearing was posted on December 20th. There has been good and frequent contact with the owner by both phone and email. And in light of that, staff is recommending that the order of non-compliance be amended to provide for a May cutoff. Apparently the owner has some family health issues out of town, but there have been permits issued and the work has begun.
The chair will entertain a motion for non-compliance with the May cutoff.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Okay.
4 to 1.
Okay. 4 to 1, okay. Case number 15, CEB 031959 is in compliance. Case number 16, CEB 031945, Charles Smith is in compliance. Okay. Okay. Case number 17, CEB 031943, Justin M. Curve is also in compliance. Case number 18, CEB 021930, Charles C. and Lorraine Buncombe is 408 Zelder Boulevard.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office, and I have with me Code Inspector Steve Alderman, who's been the inspector on this, and who's, I think, going to help me address the facts for you, because this has been going on for a while, and I'd like him to give you more information on the status of the case and what the recommendation is.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. For the record, my name is Steve Alderman, City of Daytona Beach Code Enforcement Inspector. This was a public complaint of a tarp roof. It started about 3 months ago. I opened it up 10/22/18, and the case was postponed for 2 months to allow Mr. Buncombe to obtain some sort of financial assistance for the roof. Everything has been good. The green card was received 11/15. Plenty of inspections in between now and then, but I have not had any verbal contact with the gentleman. I have posted the VIND opportunity for funding on the door, and I was there on the 1st and the 10th, and there's still been no permit for the roof applied for. So with that being said, the city is asking for $100 a day up to 10,000 max.
No, progress report. We have here progress report and the determination of the compliance date. So I guess that's what.
There is
That's
no
what-
progress.
Okay.
So we need to set a compliance date.
Okay.
No fine at this point.
Okay, no fine.
So we have to do a compliance, do we have never done a compliance date, June, on this one?
No.
We need to set it for next month compliance.
So we would request that the next cutoff be set.
No fine.
Okay.
So moved.
Okay.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next. Okay. Case number 19 CEB 021929. Mark Spritzler as trustee of the Perfect World.
State your name and address, please.
Amanda Connor, 135 High Street, Daytona Beach, Florida.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay. Hear from Code, please.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office. Can I don't have any prior experience with this case. Can I ask what the relationship is of
Yes.
this lady to the owner? 'Cause I
Property
think that's it.
management.
Okay, thank
Property
you. The issue with this property was that there had been renovation work done, and the city issued a stop work order. The first inspection was October 11th of last year. Certified letter was sent 4 days later. We posted the stop work order on October 11th, and it looks like we had a return green card, so there must have been posting of the property at a certain point. I've got Steve Alderman here, the code inspector. Steve, do you have that information as to when the NOD was served on this initially? I can find that out if there's a question on it. But in any event, there have been multiple inspection dates. There's been verbal contact with the owner. I'm going to let Mr. Alderman, who's the code inspector on this case, speak to you about where things are in terms of the status of compliance.
There was another gentleman from your company here last month.
Yes, he no
He
longer
said
works with us.
he's no longer with you?
No.
Okay, he's the one that told us they were getting the permit.
Yes, the permit has been gotten there, and they're working as we speak. It's just not finished yet. There's been so many hiccups with this. We've had to have the plans redrawn 3 times, the engineer re-stamped them 3 times. It's much more extensive than originally thought each time. They're actually pouring the concrete floor as we speak.
I knew the pictures looked familiar.
All right, I'd like Mr. Alderman to just give you an update on this as far as what city staff's knowledge is in terms of the work being done.
The permit was approved 3/11, and the last person I talked to was Mr. Van Arnhem, the contractor that was working on it, and he had told me that there were some unforeseen structural issues that kind of held everything up. In the meanwhile, I have been out there twice and seen the structure has been secured in the evenings, the pile of lumber is all taken care of, and there is a large number of debris pretty much every day. So they are making progress, but when I get to it in the afternoons, everything's all sealed up. But at this point, I believe that if we allow them till next cutoff, it should be done at this point.
That's what he's telling us, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I'm at his mercy. I'm calling him many times a day. Nobody else will touch this project.
And so the city would be amenable to extending the compliance deadline until the next cutoff.
So moved.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Case number 20 CEB 031937 is in compliance. Case number 21 CEB 031954. David Mandula at 129 Vermont Avenue.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office. This property was originally cited for multiple violations of the Land Development Code as well as the International Property Maintenance Code. Recycled vehicle parts, landscaping, paint, off-street parking, outside storage, structural damage, home-based business, the failure to obtain a business tax receipt. There has been contact with the owner. I have Code Inspector Steve Alderman available to speak to you about this, and since I've started talking, I've seen that there's a gentleman here on behalf of the respondent, so I'm going to take a break and we can get more information from Mr. Alderman as to the current status of the case from the city's perspective in a minute, if you'd like to speak with him.
Could you state your name and address, please?
Dave Manulian, 129 Vermont Ave.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Alderman informs me that Mr. Manulian, and I hope I have that name right, sir.
Yes, you do.
The city doesn't see any progress having been made on the property. So the city's request would be to impose a fine in what amount? $200 a day, max 10,000. Mr. Alderman is here if you have any questions for him.
Mr. Manulian, have you made any progress?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Have you made any progress in cleaning up what we see in the picture?
Yeah, quite a bit, I think. I lost my vision for a week. I was down, but I'm back on the ball again, you know, and I'm back at it.
Well, what have you done? Exactly, what have you done? What part of the property, or what have you done?
Well, there was a little problem with the neighbor's property also, so I concentrated on the separation between the houses so that they can get in there and do their repairs also. That is 99% completed. And most of it is the storage, outside storage, that I'm trying to cram everything into the shelter that I have, the sheds and things. But there was an item on there also, this gentleman mentioned, business licenses and things that I thought that was already removed, that is not taking, there is no business taking place there.
Okay, we'll address Mr. Alderman on
I'm sorry,
We'll address Mr. Alderman on that in a minute, about that. But basically, what you say is you cleaned up the mess you had on you've cleaned up the mess on the next door property.
Yeah, most of that, like I say, done. I don't have a vehicle. I have a trailer full of scraps there in the driveway. I'm waiting to get a vehicle. I should have a vehicle today to take care of that.
Okay.
And I'm a little hesitant about driving with my vision the way it is, but
Well, if you can't see, I don't think you want to drive.
I drove my motorcycle today. I wouldn't, a couple days ago, I wouldn't even know how to
Let me know when you're out there.
He said let him know when you're on the street.
Okay, Mr.
You won't miss my bike.
Mr. Alderman.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any?
I have had communication with Mr. Manuelin a couple of times since the last hearing. And basically, one of the first references I made right after the last time he was here was to clean the property next to him, which is very close. Unfortunately, the property line on the east side of the neighboring structure is only about 2 feet. And so over the years, it's become part of the walkway through the two properties. I was out there yesterday, and the trailer that was out there, I believe, is the same one that was out there when I was there last time. It still hasn't been moved. There's still a mass amount of outside storage and things that just need to be taken somewhere without my recommendation of where. But in the meantime, he has put some stain on the upper section of the south face, which is nice. It's small, and then there was some other maintenance done on the east side as well. But in the scope of things, even though there's been a number of codes that have been struck because they didn't apply based upon my lack of verification, there still hasn't been much done.
What kind of business do you say he is operating out of that house?
Well, and I did strike that one because I wasn't sure. It looked like a motorcycle/car modification combination, where you take a motorcycle, add a car to it, you got two wheels in the back, one in front. And that was on both properties. So I really didn't know who to focus on for a lot of these things. And most of that stuff for the neighboring property was actually David's mechanicking process. So that being said, I had to notify that. Oh, that's AC.
You don't consider...
Air conditioning.
Ben's gonna like that.
But this started 7 months ago, am I correct?
That started on 11/15 of 18.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong one, sorry.
So I take it the property that was here with him last time was sold and is closed, and that guy is...
The neighboring property, I inspected it yesterday to check for process because they're right next to each other. And they have been doing some stuff, but I have not had contact of that owner yet, but I believe he's scheduled for next hearing.
Okay.
Okay. The chair will entertain a motion of non-compliance with the $200 per day fine up to $10,000.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. No, it was moved and
That's it?
properly seconded.
I'll get one more thing.
Okay. Case number 22, CEB 031951, Gordon M. Rothmel, 333 Flushing Avenue.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office. The code inspector on this case, Steve Alderman, is here with me, and he can answer any factual questions you may have. This case came to you, it was a rental with two tenants, and the owner had not obtained a business tax receipt or the rental license required by the Code of Ordinances. My understanding is that there has been some verbal contact with the owner in January, and I'm going to let Mr. Alderman give you an update to see if there's been any additional contact and where things are in terms of obtaining compliance. Mr. Alderman?
disappointed that Mr. Rothermel wasn't here because it took a long time to actually find out if he existed. There's two people living in his home, living for the exchange of property maintenance and security. The last time I talked to him was after the last hearing. He called me, he requested a copy of the rental occupation license so he could prepare, and so I sent him one. And I also sent Officer Jones to the same structure to drop it off at the house. So we're trying to cover all our bases here. He assured me that he was going to be here today because I really still want to see that he exists for my sake. But at this point, if he's not going to show, and he's had plenty of opportunities and information everywhere, the city would request $100 per day to maximum of 10,000. No, wait, 15, I'm sorry. It's not owner occupied, it is tenants in labor trade.
So they're claiming, I guess, that they're not paying rent, they're just there for security and working.
And landscape, correct, property maintenance.
So I guess that's why he figures he don't have to pay for
Well,
a rental.
he understood it after I finally contacted him that there is still a this for that. And that being said, he agreed that he was going to apply for the rental occupation license. And I did check, and he has not applied, even though he has all the documentation that's been sent to him. He just has not showed up and followed through.
I make a motion for non-compliance.
I second that motion.
$100 per day with a cap of $15,000 and next cutoff.
And continue to comply.
Failure to comply. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Case number 23 CEV 031957, James Carson Walters Jr., 1700 North Halifax Avenue.
State your name and address, please.
James Carson Waters, 1700 North Halifax Avenue, Daytona Beach.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I certainly do.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office. As you may recall, this property was cited for several violations of the Land Development Code, including failure to obtain permits, as well as multiple provisions of the International Property Maintenance Code. There apparently wasn't access to the door. There was storage on the porch. There was landscape overgrowth. The structure on the premises was unpainted. There was trash and debris. The garage wasn't being maintained properly. The tile roof had material falling off. There were deck tiles falling off. There was outside storage in front of the garage. And my understanding, not having been here, is that Mr. Waters, I hope I got that name correctly, was here at the first hearing, and that Mr. Alderman, who's the code inspector on this case, did meet with Mr. Walters in the lobby to go over the code issues. Since that time, my understanding, and Mr. Alderman can confirm this, is that Mr. Alderman has attempted to have additional contact with Mr. Waters and has not been able to communicate with him, and nothing has been done, at least as of the date of this written report. I've got Mr. Alderman here, and I'm going to let him expand or correct that. Expand on or correct that, excuse me.
Okay, I was at Mr. Waters' house yesterday, and he has maintained almost all of the property. He has actually painted a half of the east face of the structure, and he is progressing around the structure with a pressure washer because that's essential before the paint happens. He has also cleared out the porch access completely. And this is really disappointing not having photos on this kind of case, but it seems that Mr. Waters has kind of come over a hurdle. He's on a mission to get this done. So I believe that it would be for the purpose of compliance to allow him another month to make progress. And if it goes beyond that, I will be, I go by the house every day. So
Is that front porch cleared off? Is his front porch cleared off?
Yes.
It is?
Yes.
When did
What
that
time
happen?
did you go there? Because I was by there yesterday.
It was yesterday at about 2:30.
Wow.
So you're recommending to amend to the next cutoff?
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Waters, it has been recommended that you have until the next cutoff, which is May 1st. Okay.
Very well.
The chair will entertain a motion for next cutoff.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Have until the next cutoff, Mr. Waters.
I'll be very busy this month.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Case number 24, CEB 031968, Nancy Lee Kelly and Barbara Ann Flintz and Tony Cineretta, 333 Boston Avenue.
Signorati.
Sharon, is the air on in here? Nickel broken? Yeah, still broken? Okay. Heard that noise.
Yeah, it went back off.
That was just your heart.
It did come on once. It did come on one time.
Your heart helping.
That was the false dawn.
But I think it did come on once.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office. The violation here is parking on the grass. There have been multiple inspections and verbal contact with the owner, who at one point, I guess, maintained that the parking on the west side was a designated driveway, which it isn't, apparently, or at least not. We're not on the grass part where there's parking. But my understanding is that she has obtained a permit to relocate and or expand the driveway. I've got Mr. Alderman, the code inspector, on this case, and I'm going to let him provide you more detail. I am aware that the owner has requested an additional 2 months for compliance, but I'll let Mr. Alderman address that with you as well.
This permit was approved March 21st, 2019.
I'm sorry, Mr. Alderman, was that a permit to expand the driveway?
Correct.
Or so that there's additional
Yeah.
parking lanes?
The intention of the driveway, as you can see by the narrow driveway, is to expand it to the edge of the house and a little bit more to the east as well. But it's going to be a removal, replacement, and enlargement of the existing driveway. I did talk to her yesterday, and she would not be able to make it due to medical issues.
Which one, Nancy, Barbara, or Tony?
Nancy.
Okay.
Nancy. And give her at least a month to get the process going with a progress report next month, next hearing, and I will do the progress report and compliance by June at the latest.
Okay. The chair will entertain a motion of non-compliance with an extension to 6/5/19 and a progress report at 5/1 by Mr. Alderman.
Correct.
Right.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's get that again.
Aye.
Aye.
Everybody's in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Okay.
Everyone.
Just for clarification, that would be May 9th.
And
It's the next one.
for the progress report.
Right.
The
the meeting,
progress
right.
report, as stated, would be May 9th, May 1st,
Cutoff.
oh, May 9th. Okay,
June 13 would be compliant.
right, June 13th and May
Oh,
9th.
June 5th, sorry.
Compliance by, 6/5.
Who made that motion?
She did,
I did, I think.
she did.
See Maureen Bible.
And second?
I wish we got 4.
Ms. House.
In this house, second. Okay. Okay. Case number 25, CEB 031969, Chester E. Perkowski at 315 Silver Beach Avenue.
State your name and address, please.
My name's Chester Perkowski. I live at 1250 River Breeze in Ormond Beach.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Code.
Thank you. Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office, and I have with me Code Inspector Steve Alderman, who is the Code Inspector on this case, and who can provide additional factual information if you need. The violations at this property included overgrowth, the mansard roof was rotted, the street front walls were damaged and cracking, overhangs were rotted, windows were missing, there was plywood over the slider, and it looked like there was a sign for a business as well. There have been several inspections, the latest of which, according to my notes, was on February 6th, but I know that Mr. Alderman has been in contact with the owner, and my understanding is the owner wants to be able to explain the financial situation that he hopes to be able to address in order to remediate the violations. And at this point, I'd like to let him address that way if he would like.
Thank you. The property is going to be demolished. It's listed for sale now, and it's in order, excuse me, in order to demolish it, since it is securing a loan, I need to arrange with a bank to transfer the loan to another property, which I also own. And I need to arrange for a demolition company to come in and do the demolition. So I would be requesting, say, 2 months in order to get this done.
I understand what you're saying. You're saying that you're attempting to secure a loan to use those funds for demolition?
No, he's got a
No.
loan on that building.
No,
Loan on that building.
there is a loan on the
Okay.
building, and I need
Alright,
to
so you can- yeah, I got
transfer
it, yeah.
that to
Okay.
another building, that
I got you.
collateral.
It's collateral, okay.
Yeah, it's collateral, and,
All right, makes sense.
Have you got anything in the works with the bank yet?
yes, I have started talking with the banks, and I've, started to arrange for other financing to,
Do you need that arrangement before you can apply for the demo?
yeah, because the bank, the bank is essentially the owner of the property, it's collateral. So if I can't legitimately apply to demolish.
What has the bank said? How long have they said before they can transfer the loan to another property?
It'll probably be completed within a month, but then I still have to search for the proper demolition.
Okay, this has been going on since December, that's what I'm saying, this is April, almost the middle of April. So, I mean, as long as you have other property, I don't think why it should take a month, but I'm not in the banking business.
Well, it isn't only that. I mean, I was in the process of deciding to sell this property and considering other options, and it took time to
Well, I understand
sort
that. I
these
walk
things
by
out.
this property quite a bit, and there's a lot of problems with the police having to deal with.
Yeah, well, that's part of why I want to
Okay.
sell the whole thing.
Well, you can't sell something with rock and like that. So.
Well, it wouldn't be sold as a building.
Okay.
It would cost more to rehab the building than to build a new building there. And it would be pointless to rehab a structure that's that deteriorated.
So if I understand things correctly, you've got a loan on that property that's being used as collateral for something, and that loan prohibits or restricts you from altering or demolishing the improvements on the building. So you don't want to violate that loan. You have to be able to refinance it and place collateral elsewhere.
And that's in progress. That's in process.
This is beachside property. Is the loan of a sufficient amount that it requires both the land and but demolishing is not going to take away your ownership.
Right.
Is there sufficient equity in that property if you took the building down, would the land property values that's on the beach side take care of the bank, or that's not enough?
It's not enough.
Okay.
So that's arranging that additional financing is part of what I'm
You're,
doing now.
you're right on the skirts of the CRA there. Are you in the CRA?
No,
You're just
don't
out of
believe
it then, because I think it ends at Silver Beach.
it-
You need to check that out, though.
my zoning there is RP, residential.
No, I don't, talking about zoning, I'm, Community Redevelopment Association, and whether you're in there, because you gotta get if you are, you're gonna have to get approval.
And also,
So Cole, can I ask Cole, what is your recommendation?
We have no information to contradict the gentleman. He seems in earnest, and I could see it being very typical of a loan on property prohibiting or restricting doing anything to the improvements. We're willing to extend this to, he's asked for I think 2 months, and I think we're willing to extend to the cutoff date in June, provided that we get a progress report at the next meeting.
Steve, if he was to pull a demolition permit, how many days did he have to actually demolish it?
Pardon?
If he was to pull a demolition permit, how many days would he have to demolish it?
Well, because of the size of it, it goes from Silver Beach all the way to the street in the back.
I think what Mr. Sino was asking is legally under the terms of the permit.
Is it like 6 months?
Oh, yes, yes.
So he came back in 2 months and said, well, I got my permit, here's my demolition permit. The bank's okay, I just need a few more weeks, I think we could work, I wouldn't have a problem working with them. And I wanted to come back 2 months and do the same place we are right now.
Absolutely, I agree. But the only thing I want to add as a note is it is a 24-hour trespass arrest.
Right, that's why I'm saying.
also too, how long have you owned this property?
About 3 years.
3 years? 3 years.
Well, I'm inclined to give
So,
him 3 months. It's gonna take all
Mr.
that.
Alderman. Mr. Alderman, could you give us, or could he give you a report next month, which would be the 5th? To let us know
An update.
what the bank and
Yeah.
everything is?
I average about, before I see, about 10 inspections on these properties, so yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Alderman a minute ago mentioned that there's been a trespass arrest on the property?
No.
Or
Site designation.
Site designation, which means, and that's something the gentleman voluntarily did, because he's filed with the police department, if the police see vagrants there, they're able to arrest them. So that does address one issue at least.
Okay. The chair will entertain a motion of non-compliance with the return date of 6/5/19, but also a report on 5/9/19 from Mr. Alderman.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Case number 26 CEB 031970, Catherine Chrisman and Jessica Switzer.
I'm sorry, I think case 26 was...
compliant.
It's in compliance.
It's in compliance.
Okay, it is compliance of 4/4/19. Case number 27 CEB 1118-150, Manera El Farah at 121 Lockhart Street.
August.
Den Grove City Attorney's Office, and I have with me Mr. Reckenzone, who is the code inspector, who's worked on this property and is available if you have any questions. This property was originally cited for failure to obtain a building permit under the Land Development Code, as well as numerous violations of the International Property Maintenance Code, including issues with the exterior structure, glazing, chimneys, towers, roofs, drainage, exterior walls. There was no identification of the premises. There were problems with the accessory structures, as well as weeds and vacant structures and land. My understanding, and Mr. Reckenzone can confirm this, is that the property was given 2 months. There's been no work, and Mr. Reckenzone has had no contact with the owner in that time. Staff is requesting a fine of $100 per day up to a cap of $10,000. or once compliance is achieved.
Last month, the gentleman was here and said his windows were ordered and we were waiting for the windows to come in, if I remember correctly.
The permit was assigned. It's under review. What they're waiting for is he needed to give to permits and licensing a list of what the windows were, and also a picture showing where the windows were going to be in the building. Until they got that, he couldn't even get the permit, and that was in the first 1/16 of this year.
Because he's let this overgrow since the last time,
Right, no,
correct?
those are the old pictures. The ones that have the date are the newest pictures from yesterday. The only violations left are the chimney, the windows, are the only violations left that he hasn't come into compliance. He's just fallen short and stopped contacting him.
Okay.
Chimney and the windows.
Isn't this the one that's,
The little guy with the white.
well, and it's sold, correct? I mean,
Right.
the first time when it was cited in August, it belonged to another party, and then it's sold, and now he owns it.
Correct.
But now he's not talking to you.
Correct. And when he told me the day before hearing, and he has not.
Okay.
Were you looking to give him another 30 days, or what are you looking for? What's your recommendation?
He asked
I'm
for,
asking for a fine.
Fine.
Okay.
yeah, okay. Okay, the chair entertained a motion of non-compliance with $100 per day capped at $10,000.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Case number 28, CEB 021931. Ms. Patricia Hurd is in compliance as of 4/10/19. Case number 29, CEB 031964. Barry and Linda Jane Chandler. Compliance as of 4/10/19. Yes.
Did you want to speak today? This case is in compliance.
Yes.
I can address some of it real quick.
Okay.
Just because the questions were asked last time on this case, we went and
State
sought.
your name for the record.
I'm sorry, Scott Lee. I'm police captain with
Thank
the
you,
city of
Scott.
Daytona Beach. We went back and sought some information from city staff about the determination of what a street side road is. It is basically for this property, we determined that the area on the back side of the property, even though there's a street there, it does not qualify as a street side road. Street side road applies to a corner lot. So the front yard is on the Atlantic side, and the rear yard is on the Ridge side. I believe that's the Crescent Ridge. Yeah. And that's the determination by city staff. So that's why this case is now in compliance. There are some other issues on the property. We've met with the property owner. He's working to resolve those, and if not, we'll proceed forward as normal.
So basically, the Land Development Code prohibits, I think, parking in the street side yard, but the definition in the Land Development Code for street side yard is something that only occurs if you have a corner lot.
We didn't have that information last week.
Pardon me?
We weren't told that last month.
Right. So staff has since researched that, and with that clarification, the site is not correct. The citation, excuse me.
Okay. Okay.
So the case had to be withdrawn.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
State your name and address, please.
I'm Jane Luzader. I live at 2716 Ridge Road, Daytona Beach, Florida.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And you understand that the case has been dismissed?
I understand that.
So we can
It's-
take no action. We'll extend the courtesy to listen to you, though.
I would appreciate that because I'm the one that has to look at what's in his designated backyard now. And it's a lot of things. You know, there's the boat, there's the cars that come and go on a daily basis. He buys and sells cars. He has renters in there, which he says are not renters. So I have renter parking, their visitor parking over there. It's really a problem for my property. It's really has affected my property values and my daily quality of life because I look at all the stuff over there on a daily basis, and it can be a lot of stuff. So I don't know what can be done about it.
You need to
but-
get with staff, with Mr. Reckenzone.
Right.
If there are any more violations, if there may not be, but if there is, you can bring it back to us.
Is there any way to address this with the city building codes or anything, that this can be
You
designated?
may need to have the city commission pass an ordinance, I don't know at this point. But right now,
I
it
have
says
spoke
sit
to the
down with
city
Mr.
commissioners
Reckenzone.
before, and they were the ones that told me that they said it was a street side yard, and they're the ones that did the designation saying that, this couldn't happen. That's how the big trailer got moved. And now we've come back and now they're saying it's not a street side yard. So, it's really bad for everybody on my side of the street that faces their yards, because that's what we look at and that's what you see when you drive down the street. My friends come over and they asked me, said, when do you start living across the street from a junkyard? Because that's what it looks like on some days. So,
Maybe take pictures and kind of document your pictures.
Again with Mr. Reckenzone,
Okay.
in this case. If there are violations, he's the one that, he'll bring them to us.
All
But we
right.
can't, once the case has been dismissed, we have no
We
jurisdiction
can't
anymore, we can't do anything.
I understand. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Case number 30, CEB 031963, Edith P. Fernandez at 530 Shady Place.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office, and I have with me Mr. Reckenzone from the Code Inspection staff. He's the code inspector on this case. This was a violation of Article 9, Section 9.2 of the LDC, as well as several provisions of the International Property Maintenance Code. It's a vacant structure. There's weeds, no premises identification. The drainage and water system has problems with it, and the way that this case opened was there was a complaint of dogs chasing people and transients living on the property. The property just hasn't been upkept very well. It's not homestead, and it appears from my notes, and Mr. Reckenzone can confirm this, is that there's been no contact with the property owner, and the only contact Mr. Reckenzone has had is with the tenant who went to animal control to try to get the dogs back. Staff's recommendation is to impose a fine of $100 a day with a cap of $15,000 or until compliance is achieved. And Mr. Reckenzone's here if you have any questions.
Okay.
I have a question. Is the owner local?
No, the owner's out of North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Okay, the chair will entertain a motion of non-compliance with $100 per day, captive $15,000.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. New cases. Case number 31, CEB 041971, Yvonne Bell, 1028 Michael Road.
Yvonne Bell, 1028 Michael Road, Daytona Beach.
You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office. The violation in this case has to do with a damaged roof. As it turns out, Ms. Bell may be eligible for assistance under Community Development Program, which can provide financial assistance to people to reconstruct or rehabilitate damaged homes. And my understanding is that Ms. Bell has made application to get that assistance, and we certainly, pardon? She's actually been approved.
Yay.
So,
Yay, yay, yay.
what city staff is asking for is just an order of non-compliance and just to provide 60-day updates with the hope that in 60 or 120 days everything will be done.
So that would be 613 she's asking for.
As far as an update.
Yes. Okay. The chair is asking for a motion of non-conformity with, non-compliance with the, date of 6/13/19 for.
Madam Chair, I just want to make sure that if Ms. Bell wanted to address the board, she'd have an opportunity to do that before you all took your vote.
Swear in?
Yes, she's already in.
I just have the approved letter from the Housing Rehabilitation Program, and it took me so long because I was on a waiting list. So I finally got approved.
Congratulations.
Yay.
Very nice. I love to hear that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Let me make sure I'm clear. So she is coming back for progress report in 60 days,
Right.
but there's no determination of compliance date yet.
Case been continued.
Case been continued. Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Bell. Case number 32, Demetrius Mim. Case number 32, CEB 041973, Demetrius Mims, 1057 Amanda Road.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office, and I've got Mr. Reckenzone, who's the code inspector on this, in case you have any factual questions. The violation here was parking in the yard. The owner was given 10 days, and the owner's now in compliance. However, there was parking in the yard past the date set for compliance in the notice of violation. And because of the nature of these violations, and we want to be able to use the tools that code enforcement offers, what we'd like to see is an order finding that there was non-compliance while recognizing that the property is currently in compliance, which would allow us, if it reoccurs, to use the repeat violation provisions in the statutes.
We need a motion finding the violation was a non-compliance,
But
now
now it is
compliance, and the case is
compliance.
dismissed.
Okay.
So moved.
It's been moved.
Yes.
Second.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
You got a funny look on your face. What's the deal?
I was just smiling because they have a nomenclature here that, since I haven't done code enforcement in this city, I'm not always familiar with. So I had to use an entire sentence to describe the nature of the order. And I was smiling because I wish I could recall the nomenclature. I think they asked specifically for an order of non-compliance compliance.
It's non-compliance
Yeah.
compliance.
Which
Yeah, because then it's a new case and you don't have any repeat violation.
Case number 33, CEB 041974, George Schreider and Angela Wiley, 307 Adland Street.
State your name and address, please.
George Moncho, 307 Adeline Street.
Raise your right hand. Are you acknowledged to testify? Yes. And your name is Angela Wiley? Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Thank you.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office, and I have with me Code Inspector Danny Garcia. He's been the inspector on this case. He's available if you have any specific questions. The city issued a notice of violation on this property on September 14th of last year. The property had a broken window, a damaged fence, there was outside storage, trash and debris. The owner signed the green card on September 21st of last year. The deadline was October 22nd of last year. There has been at least one reinspection since then on March 27th. It doesn't appear that there's been any activity done to obtain compliance. And in fact, there hasn't been any contact between the owner and Mr. Garcia, as I understand it. This apparently is the first time that Mr. Garcia has either seen or met the owner. Staff's request is to issue an order of non-compliance and require compliance by the next cutoff date.
Mr. Schreider.
Okay, the windows, they are fixed. I just finished them. I only have 1 day off, a week. The window's done. The fence, there's only like 5 or 6 panels, fence slats are missing. I'm working on that. And everything else, I've been trying to, like, debris, garbage, I cleaned that up. Like all those windows on that side of the house are fixed. That, that window over there has been fixed. I put the posts up because people in back of apartments, they keep on parking on my lawn. Oil's dripping all over my grass, it's killing my grass. So I put the posts up to stop them because it's just that I'm working on getting it painted too. I've been just slowly working on it. With one day off, it's kind of hard.
So do you think you'll be able to have it by the next cutoff date? And
How long is that? A month, 2 months?
can you stay in contact with Mr.
Oh, I
Garcia?
can stay
and
in contact with him. I finally met him today.
We may have one issue that we should address since everybody's here and present. The posts either need to come out or get permitted, and I've talked with Mr. Garcia. I don't actually know whether they would be permittable, but that would be something where we would encourage the gentleman to get with Mr. Garcia as soon as possible after the meeting to see what his options are.
I did go downstairs to see about a permit for those posts.
Or talk to
They
Mr.
said
Garcia.
They'd have to come out and inspect it, see how far back I have to set them.
What he's saying is for you to get with Mr. Garcia.
Yeah, we're not changing our recommendation. It sounds like the gentleman is proceeding, but I just wanted him to be aware since he's mentioned the post that might be a potential issue.
Because all them people in the back of the apartment complex, they've been pulling in there in the middle of the night, you know.
Okay, Mr.
I've
Garcia,
been
so
seeing
you're,
stolen cars there, police, and I can't have it. So that's why I put them posts up.
you are asking non-compliance with 60 days, Mr. Garcia?
Go ahead, Mr. Garcia.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I'd like to put on the record also, the painting wasn't asked to be done, it didn't need to be painting, but somebody decided on painting it, so it's uncompleted. I just want to make sure that he completes that.
I will.
That's okay.
So June cutoff date.
So, yeah, it would be June 5th. No, I thought he said 60 days.
It's 2 months.
I had put down for next cutoff.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you
And
have
I
the next
asked for that.
Okay.
And I assume by your question, Madam Chair, that you might have been negotiating or encouraging or something
Yeah.
like that. So,
Okay. So, but what you're asking is for a next cutoff, could we say with a report, progress report?
Yeah, progress report.
And the 6/5 will be a compliance?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So the chair will entertain a motion of non-compliance with the next month, which is 5/9, with the progress report from Mr. Garcia.
I got it. No
And
problem.
a compliance date by 6/13.
so moved.
6/5, sorry, 6/5/19. Okay,
So moved.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Got it?
Thank
That's
you,
it.
yes, that's it, thank you.
No
Okay.
problem.
Case number 34, CEB 041975, Bertha Wiley of 1019 Cedar Highland Boulevard. Okay.
I'm Cheryl Wiley, and I live in 4579 Heritage Oak Drive in Orlando. I'm speaking on behalf of my mom, Aretha Wiley. I have power of attorney for her, so I was.
And I'm Mary Wiley, and I live at 1019 Cedar Highland Boulevard.
Raise your right hand.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office. I have with me Officer Danny Garcia. He's the code inspector on this case, and he's available if you have any factual questions. The property was issued a notice of violation on November 1st for violation of the Land Development Code, as well as several provisions of the International Property Maintenance Code. consisting of things such as outside storage, trash and debris, torn screens, damaged exterior wall, overgrown grass onto the sidewalk, and a damaged fence. The compliance deadline was February 13th. Mr. Garcia was out on the property on March 27th, and it didn't appear that the property had been in compliance. However, and I'm sorry, I forget the name of the young lady who's standing here with the power of attorney. She's spoken to Mr. Garcia and said everything's been taken care of. Mr. Garcia just hasn't been able to confirm it yet. So staff's request is that an order of non-compliance be issued with the compliance date of next cutoff, and then he'll go out and inspect the property, and hopefully everything will be okay.
Okay. Okay, you have anything to say, Ms. Lonnie?
No, I just spoke with him and just, you know, and told him that I'll do whatever I need to do to make sure it's compliant, and he told me, and she lives there now, and she knows I've been getting on her, getting it compliant.
And
so.
she's the baby sister.
But I have my mom, and she shouldn't have to be here.
Sure.
Just for correction, I was actually at the property last night, and I found it in non-compliance, and I spoke with Cheryl, and she knows exactly what she needs to do, so there should be a compliance by next cutoff.
Yes.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know what day she's gonna say it.
The chair, next cutoff is your compliance date. The chair will entertain a motion of non-compliance with the next cutoff,
May 1st.
May 1st.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and thank you so much.
Thank y'all so much.
So moved.
Y'all have a blessed day.
Okay.
So we have a motion in a second.
All in favor? Yeah, the motion and second.
I second it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jim.
That's okay.
Oh, I got all in favor too. I said aye.
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 Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Case number 35, CEB 041976, Paul A. Sikorsky, Revocable Trust at 309 through 307 Seaview Avenue. Code.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office, and I have with me Inspector John Stenson, who is available to discuss or provide any additional factual information that you may need. This is a rental property, and the owner didn't obtain a rental license. The owner was first notified of this in September 24th, specifically of last year. That was a phone call. The owner indicated he would call in 3 weeks. That apparently didn't happen. On December 10th, there was another call made to the owner. A message was left. There wasn't a return call. Staff generated a notice of violation and posted the property on February 8th of this year with a compliance deadline of February 22nd. There has been no response and no compliance. The property is occupied. Staff requests an order finding non-compliance, requiring compliance by the next cutoff date. And as I said, Mr. Stenson is here if you have any questions.
No question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any questions?
No.
Okay. The chair entertain a motion of non-compliance with a cutoff of 5/1/19, which is the next cutoff. Okay.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Case number 36 CEB 041978 is in compliance of 4/1/19. Case number 37 CEB 041979 is in compliance 3/26/19. Case number CEB 041980 is in compliance of 4/10. Case number CEB 041981 Norman H. Riley Estate at 215 Auditorium Boulevard.
Excuse me, number 38 in compliance?
Yeah, 410.
Yes,
You might have went to the restroom.
yes, 410.
State your name and address, please.
Hi there, my name's Kelly Riley, 1132 Lakewood Park Drive.
Right. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ben Gross, City Attorney's Office, and I have with me Code Inspector Steve Alderman, who's the Code Inspector on this case and who is available if you have any factual questions. Mr. Alderman, however, advised me that this property came in compliance last night, and so we want to withdraw the case.
Okay. No, do you want to withdraw it or before, we have to take no action? You want to withdraw it?
No action. No.
We don't have to take any action then.
Okay.
You don't want to do the non-compliance, compliance
No.
in case they
No.
come back.
No,
That's why I asked.
Actually, I closed it last night and sent June
Okay.
the compliance
All right,
affidavit
let's
about
withdraw.
5:30, so
Not hearing it.
she didn't get it.
Oh,
Okay.
You'd like to speak or?
Okay.
Let's just say nothing.
It's in
Yeah.
compliance, okay? Thank you. Case number 40 CEB 041977 is in compliance 4519. Case number 41 CEB 041982 is in compliance 4819. And we did case number 42 CEB 41983.
I think we
Is
heard.
an amendment.
yes.
He amended it. Okay. Next, I'll put the report. Okay, miscellaneous business?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sure that Tony would do this if he were here, but we want to acknowledge Ms. House's contribution to the board on behalf of the staff and thank her for her many years of dedication.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's been fun working with all of you. It was a great learning experience, and good luck in the future.
Well, we hope that you'll
We'll
come back
come
and
back.
visit us.
Well, I want to thank Ms. Hines for getting the meeting carefully.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we through.